Hello there, everyone. Uh, I hope you guys are able to hear me. I was having some technical difficulties before, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I'm joined here with the patient Blue Lion, or as most people here will know him as Jerry Z. Will be discussing the fact that Premier League returns this weekend. Nottingham Forest is here. We will be facing them. So, of course, that match is here. I just realized that the title actually says Nottingham Forest returns. But we move. And expectations for the match. Will Ange Postecoglou lose his job? And will Nottingham Forest lose yet another match? Will they go winless for another match? So much to discuss. Um, Welcome, Jerry. What do you have to say?
Yes, sir. Hello, Tyrone. Hello, the blues, the patient blues, the excited blues, the positive blues, and the negative blues. Yeah, I mean, of course, bro, whenever there's an international break, I don't know about you, man. It's like a depression. It feels the world has stopped. There's nothing to do in life but to suffer. Although the Chelsea journey is nothing but suffering, but I would still take that suffering than just waiting for additional week or weekend for the games. So yeah, we are here. We are um, uh, the Chelsea fan base is of course here with the feeling of a great win that we had before the international break against Liverpool. But I don't know about you. For some reason, I mean, it was a great win. I think we played well. Mariska did well. The boys did well. We defeated one of the best teams in England, if not the best, Liverpool. Because I think Arsenal is the best team. Um, but I don't know, bro. Like the gut thing. We can talk about the stats and we can talk about winning the Club World Cup, but in the gut, and I'm being very honest, man. God knows, in the gut, I don't feel it. I'm still not confident moving forward, Tyrone. How about you?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'm not confident at all. I just want to quickly just bring in what Diamond has said here. Oh my God, the Tyrone is back. I was never gone. I don't know. You've not been here in weeks, so probably didn't know. But yes, I'm actually a part of Chosen Sessions. I forgot that some people are still not aware of the fact that I'm actually back. But I've been doing shows still, and I've been making content for the last 2 months. So yeah. But big up to you, Diamond. Thank you for tuning in. Everton fan here. Let me know what you think because we're going to be speaking about Postecoglou as well. But to answer your question, Jerry, I mean we've had our conversations privately as well, and I have not. At least I don't think I've been inconsistent like what Mariska has done, where I say one thing, then I change what I'm saying, and then I go back to what I was saying initially because things are starting to look up. No, I stick to one thing. I've already said it, and I'm not going to stop saying it. I'm yet to be convinced by Moresca. I said it. Liverpool, awesome win, very good win. We got 3 points. It helped us to have a good, um, match before the international break, and a good feeling to want to see the team play again. But that match in itself did not convince me. We won 2-1. We could have quite easily have lost that match as well. So I'm not going to get ahead of myself and pretend as if we were the greatest thing, that we looked like prime Barcelona, or we look like an excellent Brazilian team. That's just moving the ball and it's just sexy football. It wasn't sexy football. It was a good goal, it was a good build up to the goal that Esteban ended up getting to score. But that's about it. The match could have quite easily gone our way, could have gone out, not our way, and Liverpool could have simply won that match if they hadn't missed chances. So I'm not going to be fooled by the fact that simply we won against a Liverpool team that were beaten by Crystal Palace. They got beaten by Galatasaray. So it's not like we did something that is so monumental that no team had done before. We gave Liverpool their first defeat. We didn't. We didn't. So yes, I'll give Maresca credit because we actually were able to get the better of them and the tactics worked. But at the same time, Liverpool's shortcomings also gave us that win. people are not gonna like this, but it's the truth. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't like to be fake or pretend that I'm all pro Maresca and all of that. I'm not convinced by him, and the only time I'll be convinced by him is if we win the league with him. We in the Champions League, we in the Club World Cup, we in the Conference League, we in the Champions League. As I said, it's not something that gives me the belief that he can do it, because we've had managers that have won us the Champions League, but they did not win the Premier League, or they never got the chance to win the Premier League with us. So I'm not going to be fooled by that. We won the Europa League with Sarri, but people hated Sarri. We won it with Rafael Benitez. We did not win the league with Rafael Benitez. So just like how some managers can win you the Premier Leagues and they can't win you the Champions League, the opposite can also work. A manager can win you the Champions League but can never win you the Premier League. That is just the reality. So if we can win the cup competition, it's fantastic. But at the end of the day, I want to see us win the league. And if we don't win it with Maresca, then I don't think it's worth giving him the plaudits, because he's not the first manager to win us the Super Cup, or what is now called the Intercontinental Cup, and of course the Club World Cup is what we won this year. But that's my long monologue or soliloquy about that. So, back to you, Jerry. I want us to change the tone, and just say this. The Premier League is back. How are you feeling about it? Not just Chelsea, but the Premier League being back, and what are you really looking forward to seeing over the weekend?
Yes, of course, Nottingham Forest Chelsea, the first game, 12:30 UK time, which will suit me big time. And I'm laughing because it will set up the mood for the whole weekend. So just the very first game, if it goes well, and if it doesn't go well, oh my days. And the game that I'm looking forward is Manchester United Liverpool, or sorry, Liverpool United, because it's at Anfield. That game I'm looking forward to the most, and the reason is simple: it's historically the biggest, and to date the biggest game in England. And secondly, I'm curious to see a lot of things in that game. Uh, from Liverpool's perspective, I want to see they lost three in a row in all competition: Crystal Palace, Galatasaray, and Chelsea. So, is the struggle for real, or is it a bad patch? So that's the question that I have in my mind. So I'll see if I will get the
Yeah.
answer or not. As far as Manchester United goes, man, oh my days, there's so much to look at. Ruben Amorim, I don't know what the situation. So many reports, conflicting reports. So I don't want to go there if his job is on the line or not. But it's not really in the good place right now with fans, especially, and I'm sure in the board as well. So it's not about the job right now. More to do with, can Ruben Amorim like do something? Like, can he finally do something? Can Manchester United do something? Do they have something? Um, I think he will play a back three, which is fine. I love back three, but if, we believe, and most of the people in the industry believe, the 3-4-3 is not the system with the players that he has. That's a problem. So in that way, I think he's super rigid. Like, he can always come back to the back three when he has the players. 4-3-3, I think, works best for this system, or 4-2-3-1, whatever. But I think 4-3-3 would be the best. But anyways, and last thing I want to see is Ruben Amorim delivered big time, although it was a draw 2-2, but they had one of the best performances of the year so far, and they deserve to win. I'm talking about in January, I forward the exact date, January of this year at Anfield. It ended Liverpool 2, United 2, and everyone thought Ruben Amorim is now going to go ahead and become the next best manager of all time. It was that good. You saw that game. I saw the game. People, it was all over the front and the back pages of the newspaper. Manchester United were fantastic. So yeah, sorry I went long on that one, but as a fan, I'm
No,
really
no, no,
looking
no, no,
forward.
no, no, no. No, you
What do
did
you have
not.
to
I
say on
asked you a
that game,
question.
Tyrone? Back to you. Which game, first of all, are you
Yeah.
looking forward to the most? And if you have to say anything on Liverpool United.
I mean, I love the way that you started by simply saying that Chelsea Nottingham Forest. Is it Chelsea Nottingham Forest or Nottingham Forest Chelsea? I don't even know where the match is being played.
Nottingham
Um,
Forest Chelsea away game.
So no way game for Chelsea. So yeah, it will set the tone for the rest of the Premier League. Well, for a Chelsea fan, it will set the tone for the rest of the weekend. The tone for the rest of the weekend, and of course for the Premier League, it sets the tone for what can probably happen. Will Postecoglou get sacked? Will this be the match that gets him sacked? Will Postecoglou get his first win against Charity FC? Will Charity FC make its long-awaited return? Well, not long-awaited because when Man United need a win for Amram and they got it, so I don't know if it's really long-awaited, but the customary Charity FC would it be returning to assist Postecoglou because Chelsea are a giving club. We give gifts, through the foundation, and we give gifts to the field of play. So just gotta wait and see what happens. But I mean, yeah, for the match as you said for Liverpool Man United, just to see it the correct way. Of course we know that you know. Okay, I think my connection went out all ago. What was the last thing you heard, Jerry?
Yeah, you were about to say on Liverpool United.
Wow, so I spoke a long time, we didn't hear anything. So I'm saying that, yeah, I mean, considering what we saw from them, Man United, the last time that they really had a competitive match with a 2-2, as you said, with Amorim, playing what I would say that I think that's the best game he's had, coaching them because and I remember watching that match and just seeing the footwork and how they were moving the ball. I was saying, wow, where was this all this time? And then it never returned really. I never saw it again. The way they were moving the ball was so delicious. I was like, wow, this is what Premier League is about. But I mean, as you said, what people expected that okay, maybe this is the upturn in form. It never came, sadly. So um, it really is just unfortunate. What's happened with him at Man United? I do believe that he hasn't really been given the greatest of squad at the same time. But I know that's probably the argumentative. But at the end of the day,
Well, I think you're again the internet is perhaps lagging. Hello.
right, so I don't know. The laptop is acting up. So what I'm saying is I want to see we're gonna have a sequel of what we saw earlier happen again, but we move. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this off. All right, so I have to switch devices now. But yeah, so what do you think? What do you make of the whole situation with Postecoglou at Nottingham Forest? Do you think he's been unlucky, or just do you think that it's tactical? What do you have to say, Jared?
Yeah, I mean, and it's a very good question. And to answer that question, one needs to first of all take this. I mean, take Postecoglou seriously because by default you would laugh. You would not be very serious for obvious reasons because 7 games, 5 draws, sorry, 5 losses and 2 draws, and the way they are playing, it's quite laughable, right? So I have to make sure that I'm focused while answering this question because naturally people would drift away. Big up to Tobeho, the Coolest Chels podcast. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Tobeho, for tuning in to the Coolest Chels podcast. Um, okay,
Did you say thank you for tuning into the Coolest Shows podcast?
no, I said that to Tobeho. Um, maybe I forgot to pause, so it appeared that way. Uh, so back to the question of Ange Postecoglou. Look, we have seen in the past with many managers that we have written them with the media or the fans or the critics have written them off immediately, uh, and made a joke of them, and they proved us wrong in whatever capacity in different leagues. Um, at this, but again, I can only talk what's in front of me, right? I can only talk what's in front of me. I cannot say, okay, in 3 years ago or 10 years ago this happened, but that manager eventually turned it around. So I don't think so. That would be a good example, if you see what I mean, Darren. So
Mm.
based on, so okay, so I have 2 to 3 things to say on that about Postecoglou, if he's doing well, if he's to blame. Using what's in front of you, the 7 games, Nottingham Forest played very low block defensive counter-attacking football, very structured and formidable at the back under Nuno. That is, uh, and yes, they couldn't sustain because they were third, fourth, and finished seventh eventually. But still, it was the best finish in I don't know how many years, and not playing in Europa League. Whatever happened with Nuno is not has nothing to do with the question that you asked. So Nuno was replaced. But I think if you simply use logic, and Tobeho can answer, you can answer if you agree or disagree with me. It doesn't make any sense in this way that Postecoglou was brought in. I won't say mid-season, but still start of the season. But it's the same thing in that way that he won't get a preseason, right? His way of playing is 180-degree, which means completely opposite to that of Nuno, I'm saying Nuno Postecoglou, to Nuno, right? And Tyron, you're a coach. You are a coach. You coach at university level. So Postecoglou's coaching, or sorry, his style and approach is 180-degree, which means completely reverse or inverted to that of Nuno. It's high press, and not even high line, unusually high line attack, attack, attack. And yes, in the last game, he did play a mid block that I noticed. He did try to play a mid block. That he tried, but of course it didn't work. So the blame is definitely on Ange Postecoglou, if you have to ask me. The reason is that if you give me a tool or set of player or a system or some resources to utilize, and I know their strength and weakness, but I'm like, no, but I like it this way, right, Tyrone? My way is this way. Then I think it's not professionalism. I think it's, yes, 3-4-3. Absolutely 3-4-3. He's right. It's not professionalism. It's about that what I like, what I want to do, how I want to play. Fine. If you believe in your philosophy, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But you tried at the start, you already saw the results, right? And you know it's I won't say impossible, but it's very difficult for players to adapt mid-season, and they are well rehearsed in a different way, right, Tyrone? So as he used the back three in the last game, I don't know if he used it for the whole 90 minutes or not. I think now he has 7 games under his belt. He should know that playing the Postecoglou way is not sustainable with Nottingham Forest. Yes, it could work, but will you be losing 10 more games to make it happen? Or will you be like sacrificing 10 games? No, mate, no. You won't get that much time. So I think in that regard, I don't appreciate or rate coaches that are so rigid that they won't change their way, even if it's in front of you, even it's evident that it's failing. I think there are so many options that you can go with, and having one way of playing, and if it's not working, then I don't know, if it's not on the manager, then who is to be blamed? So I blame so far Ange Postecoglou. Tomorrow things can be different. He can play a way that is, you know, balanced way, if that's what you want to say, both attacking and I mean a good balance between attack and defense. So he needs to change. And for now, I think he has done a poor job, and that's what I think. What do you have to say on that, Tyrone? And where do you stand on Ange Postecoglou?
I have to say I feel bad for him, because he came into a situation where no matter what way there was gonna be some comparison no matter what. Um, I never understood why they got him. I never understood why they sacked Nuno in the first place. In terms, I understand why they did, but I also didn't understand. I hope that makes sense, because you have one of your greatest seasons. Although it started to um what's the word? The word was right at the tip of my tongue, and it went back, and I don't know. Anyways, but you had one of the best seasons, and then it capitulated. That's the word I was looking for, or probably I'm trying to use too much big words. But it completely exploded, or it got derailed completely. In the end, you appear to have been in the title race, quote unquote, for a good while, and then of course you're in the top four, or you're in the top three, I should say, and then you were second at one point, and then yeah, you don't get Champions League football and all of that. But with Postecoglou, I do think that him coming in after preseason would have concluded, or the preseason period would have concluded, it was difficult. If they had sacked Nuno before the preseason period, or little time that they had for preseason, it's well, Tobago is saying that Nuno wanted to leave. That could also have been the case as well. I mean, I would want to leave if my boss is constantly pestering me, and he's undermining me in front of the players that I'm supposed to be keep
Yeah,
retaining their
and
respect.
I think
So I wouldn't blame him.
Tubeho is 100% correct over here. But Tubeho, we 100% right. But we are discussing Postecoglou in itself. I mean, in himself, like his role, is he
Yeah,
to be
but
blamed?
but but
The
I, I'm
ownership. So, okay, if Nuno
yeah,
was gone, yes, Tarun, please continue. So why Koglu? First of all, why was Koglu appointed? And if he was appointed, then what kind of a job has he done so far?
yeah. Thank you for the assist, Jerry. And those exact same words I was going to use all ago. Yeah, you sack Nuno, but why is it Postecoglou? It makes no sense, because they play completely two different football. If you're gonna be getting a new manager in, or if you have an idea to replace the manager, get somebody in that plays something similar to what Nuno got the players to do. Because playing a certain way, playing a conservative way, and playing a quote unquote pragmatic way, and then being tasked with playing a more attacking way, where you have a high line, or you're pushing up, and you're going out, and you're not shying away from things. It's going to be difficult because you're not drilled that way. If you and I'm not and we always say players are not robots. And even then, robots are programmed a certain way. So if you want them to do something and they're not wired, or the software that they got was not wired that way, they're not going to be able to conduct it in a rational way, or in a way that will give you the best result. So why would you think that getting a manager who plays the complete, and as I'm not use what Jerry said, plays a 180, or it's a complete 180 of what the other manager was getting the team to do, and it was working for the most part successfully. Why would you get a manager that plays a certain way that's not gonna probably be facilitating the way in which the players have been playing for the last year, or whatever the case may be? So it never made any, not even a year, because he was there from before that as well. So it just made no sense. And that's why I said I feel bad for Postecoglou, because I understand why he's doing it, because of course, he's using the games that he did get as preseason. This is where he should be trying things, and he has to be adapting to the fact that these players are not used to the way he's playing, and he didn't get the chance to really have preseason to let them get that understanding. So they're learning on the job, like somebody that we know, Jerry. They're learning on the job of
Yeah,
what they're being asked to do.
not someone. But there are a couple of people who are right now learning on the job. Tyron, I'm sure you know that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the thing. Like it made no sense. It made no sense to me that's the case. But no, they're gonna be looking to sack him. Apparently, they're looking at some options, and even the options are on the way. overwhelming. If I was a Nottingham Forest fan, I would generally just say keep Postecoglou because the options that I'm seeing they linked with and who they can realistically get without having to pay out of the clubs that they're at, it's not looking good. Unless I mean they can probably get Sean Dyche because he's a manager and also frustrate opponents. At Burnley we know that he was able to keep Burnley up for a good amount of years. And then of course we know that they got relegated and all that. But Postecoglou coming in never made any sense, and especially with the fact that yeah he won the Europa League, fine, he's been able, he can win trophies, but look at the league. Look
Where
at
did
what
he
he was able
finish
to
in
do
the
in the
league,
league.
Tyrone?
Exactly. Look at the league. Look at the league. He finished 17th, I think. So you can
And look at
expect
Thomas
that a
Frank,
manager.
like what job he's doing with Tottenham right now. So which manager would you
So
choose, honestly?
so that and that is the and that is the thing, and that is the irony of it all. That's the irony of it all. Um, because we recognize the fact that um we look at somebody was calling me a while ago and I've lost my chain of thoughts. Right, we look at the fact that they say Thomas Frank is not a good enough manager or they wouldn't have won him at Chelsea. But the thing is, look at what he's doing at Tottenham, and it's not like it's a manager boat because they've already had the challenges where they've lost matches. It's not been smooth sailing. There's been could have lost. They had matches where they could have lost, but they didn't, or they came back and drew, or whatever the case may be. So it's not a case of a manager bones where they're just winning for fun and winning for fun. That's not been the case. But yeah, I generally think that with this whole thing with Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest or Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea, if he loses this match, he should be sacked because, and I think we need to discuss this as well. Chelsea are not going to be um I'm not surprised by that comment by Thomas Frank. Wow, by Tobago on Thomas Frank. But yeah, I mean, looking at what the situation is with Chelsea have injuries, so Chelsea will not be at their full strength. So if Postecoglou's Forest cannot get out a result when it matters now, then I don't know, man. It shows that
The
he's
way
never
I
going to
said
be able to
Thomas
get the best
Frank
out of him.
in the bin.
So yeah, I mean, they don't then.
Yeah. So, Tyrone, I have a question for you. We talked in depth about. I mean, we talked in depth on Postecoglou for a reason, of course, because we are facing him tomorrow. We talk about what he has done so far. So, of course, we will link with what we would expect or we expect tomorrow from him. Of course, there's a whole link, and of course, it could be his last match. But the question is, right? Like as an upcoming coach, let's say put your coach hat right. Put your coach hat right now, and it's a very serious question. Let's say if you were appointed the manager of Nottingham Forest at the time Coglou was appointed, and let's put the variables constant with so the question can be authentic. What I mean with that is, let's say you play the same way Postecoglou plays before coming into this job, right? Forget that you finished 17; it has nothing to do with Tottenham. Just the main thing is that Tyrone plays a high line attack system, right? And you are given the job of Nottingham Forest. Uh, you didn't get a preseason, and you still believe in your philosophy. You know, long term, you can make that high line attacking system work. So, given the ground realities, the players that you have, the system that they are used to, I mean, I know it needs research, right? But on top of your head, what would you have done? Would you have went straight with your system, or would you have slowly and gradually, like, I mean, started in the same defensive mode and then transition them over time into that system? I just want to know. I'm curious, and I'm sure the people would love your answer on this.
Uh, um, that's a very long question to be honest, Jerry. But I mean, and you put me on the spot about the whole coaching thing. Yes.
But is it a spicy question or not?
Yeah, it is. It is. It is a spicy question.
Go ahead, sir. Enlighten us.
It's a it's a spicy question because of the fact that you know we I'm trying not to be biased. Trying not to be biased. And let's be fair. But the thing is, as you said, and one of the biggest things that I have to say, tactics plays a huge role. Understanding the players that you have is important, and I think a lot of managers aren't equipped with that level of understanding that you have to play to the best of what you have. You can't be pretending that you have what you don't have. So you have to put on the coaching cap. I generally don't think that it's a fear assessment. I don't know if that that answers the question. I don't think it's a fear assessment. Were you able to hear
I
me?
think no, actually, you will have to repeat if you want. Like the internet was freezing on and off, so it was at least to me it was not. I didn't get anything because you were pausing every 3 4 seconds.
So you didn't hear what I said?
In bits
Let,
and
let, me- let me let,
pieces.
let me ensure that the question that you asked me is what I answered. Basically, what you're seeing what exactly?
I'm just saying that your system, like Tyrone's system, I mean, hypothetically, I know it's not your system because we know. I mean, I've asked you what your system is. Uh,
Hmm.
so you don't play, of course, a super aggressive high line. Um, but let's say if you play this way, that's your DNA, that's your identity, and you got a Nottingham Forest
Hmm.
job at the time that Postecoglou got that job. What would you have done? Would you have straight away implemented that style of play, or would you have looked at the players and thought that okay, that's how they are drilled under Nuno? So maybe I would want to do that, but in the next few weeks, I would take it slowly and and help them transition into my system. That's my question.
I love the way that in the question you gave me the answer, which is exactly what I would say. Yeah, and what I was saying is that as a lot of managers don't take this into account, and I was saying that a lot of managers are stubborn, because when you consider the fact that uh, am I frozen again? I think I'm frozen. Somebody
Um,
uses.
no, you're fine.
Somebody uses.
That there are two Tyrons. Okay, now it's one.
All right. So all right. What I'm saying is this. Um, as a manager, it's important to understand your players. If you don't understand your players, then therefore you're gonna put yourself in a situation where you're forcing what they cannot do on them. And as you said, Nuno would have drilled them in a certain way. The understanding is that they play a certain way. You get a manager after you. I'm hearing myself twice. I don't know what's going on.
No, you're good. You're good. It's fine. Go ahead.
Take this out of my ear because I think probably that's the case. But what I'm saying is this: um, if you are a manager, you're used to playing a certain way. Nottingham Forest is a team that, of course, we know that they were in the championship a few years ago. They got promoted again, so you can be pushing so much on them so quickly, and it reminds me so much of what Tuchel did. Um, Tuchel came in with his 3-4-3 formation or through the back system. He understood what needed to be done, and he slowly incorporated what he wanted to do. He started from the defense, then he went to the midfield, then he went to the attack. That is what you have to do. Probably not the defense, midfield, and attack, but start slowly. Find the strongest area of the team. Try to ensure that you're able to get the best out of it, and then whatever changes that you decide to make, ensure that those changes will not be at a detriment to the players that you have, because you have to play with what you have. And I'll say that for Maresca as well. But focusing on Postecoglou, Postecoglou is very stubborn in the way that he wants the team to play. He wants them to do this, so therefore he tasked them with doing things that way. But at the end of the day, if you have certain players, you have to play to their strengths, because it makes no sense that you ask a player who I'm gonna give you a scenario, for example. If you want a player to be able to be a fullback to be a good cross into the box, and he doesn't have the capabilities to do a cross, you can't expect him to say, "Okay, I'm gonna put you in this area," and then when you get to the final third and you're on the flanks, I want you to cross the ball to the striker. And every time he makes the cross, it goes wide. It doesn't go anywhere close. It just goes over the goal and goes to the other side for a throw in. You can't be upset at the player, because for one, the player's capabilities are not there, and I think you made an allusion to this as well by saying that you realize that it's not working. Why do you keep trying to drill it into them without actually playing to their strengths? I get it. You want your DNA to be drilled into the players, but it's not going to be possible. And I'm going to use another analogy. If you're building a house and you're using board and you have a nail, and you realize that the nail is not going through the board, why are you gonna keep trying to knock the nail in if you realize it's not going to work? You're doing madness. And like they say, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. It's impossible. It's insanity, because the players cannot do it. I'm not saying they can eventually do it, but at a time where they have been doing something for the last year, it is impossible for you to divorce yourself from what you were once doing under another manager and doing what the manager wants you to do, especially if they've had no preseason with you. And it reminds me so much of what happened with Chelsea with Maresca, where they had Pochettino, for example. Maresca comes in, and he even came on and said that they were playing high lines, and then he got to a point where they were not playing much of a high line, and they may have the little gaps in behind that teams are able to exploit. But the high line business started to be decreased, because after a while it was a case, but because of the fact that they were able to do things like score goals with a high line, it works. But when it dropped deep, we realized that we started having goal scoring issues where we were not able to score as much goals. But eventually we started to see that we could score goals in the end. So that is what tends to happen. We see the complete flip of what Maresca did with Chelsea, with what Postecoglou and Nuno, of course, having difference. So that's my long response, but I guess I could have given you a short answer by just simply saying that as a manager, as a head coach, as a coach, it is your responsibility to analyze the players that you have, see where their strengths are, see where their weaknesses are, and if they cannot do something, don't try to drill it into them that they're going to do it, especially at a very demanding time where the owner has sacked somebody in to bring you in, and they were probably loving the way that Nuno was playing, because they were actually getting good accolades. They got European football, for example. So why would you change all of that, or try to change all of that so quickly? That's the part that I don't understand. But anyways, we're almost at the 1 hour mark, so I don't want us to go too far. I want us to really talk about like the fact that Chelsea's injury situation is the way that it is as well.
Yeah, great answer. And yeah, and that's precisely is the issue with some managers who stick to the system, which personally I don't understand, even if it's not working, or if the players that they have at the disposal are not able to execute the plans. You can add Ruben Amorim to it. You can safely add Ruben Amorim to it. Like, I don't know, he may end up as one of the best managers in the world. He's still young. I'll give that to him. Or he actually believes in his system more than anything in life, and maybe he he will eventually be right. Maybe he'll win this weekend. I'm just saying, right? But again, like, I really don't understand him sticking to the back three with the Manchester United for this long. Anyways, so the last thing I want to tell the audience is that Postecoglou actually tried in the second half of back three against Newcastle, but of course it didn't work. It didn't work, so he came back to to the back three the back three that Nottingham Forest are well rehearsed with. But again, you can play a back three, but uh, you can still have different options with a back three or even a back four. It doesn't mean if you're playing back three, you're conservative at all times. So I watched that game for 15, 17 minutes, and even with the back three, the wing backs were really high on the pitch. So it was a back three with Postecoglou's footprint. So let's see what he will do tomorrow. And that's where now talking about Chelsea's current squad, the injuries, the players that we have, the potential lineup, and what Postecoglou can do to save his job. And on the other hand, what should the Chelsea fans expect? Yes, Tyrone, are you there? Can you hear me, Tyrone?
Um, I genuinely cannot believe that I was talking all this time and my mic was off. What I was saying to you was about the whole injuries of the Cole Palmer and all of that. So what do you think that's going to be a detriment?
Bro, you were talking for the last 10 minutes and I was trying to contact you in private that your microphone is off, mate. So, anyways, yeah, to the question of Cole Palmer, of course, Cole Palmer, Caicedo, as you said, may not play this game, right? Enzo Fernandez. Uh, so I think that's where I think this match becomes even more interesting. It's more of a 50-50 because Cole Palmer would be absent for another month. Caicedo is I haven't checked, but I think it's this is what's mentioned that because of the travel he won't be playing this match. So I think it will play a huge part because these are Palmer and Caicedo, in my opinion, the two best players right now at Chelsea, and that's where and it's an away game. Postecoglou's job is on the line. That makes it even more interesting how this game will be played. Will Postecoglou think that he should go on the front foot and capitalize and win this game, or maybe play more pragmatic? Because he knows Chelsea is playing or will be playing a B team, close to a B team, so he may take his time and make it difficult for Chelsea. So it will be interesting to see what Postecoglou's approach will be. Um, and Yeah, so this is an interesting match, and it's very important for us to collect the 3 points because we know the fixtures coming in November, both in the league and the Champions League. So it's pivotal. We want our team to be close to the top four, to the top three, and if possible, to be in the title race. But at least in the top four, we are seventh now, and and as Blues, as the current world champions, and as the team is gelling, growing in confidence with a great win against Liverpool, we would expect the team to progress and show more character. Of course, Levy Colville, we know long-term injury that has really hampered. Uh, Colville is the biggest miss, of course, uh, in terms of the defensive duty as a centre back. He was doing fantastic, was instrumental in the World Cup, and of course, Enzo Maresca has alluded and has said that a couple of times, even to a point of complaining that he was not given a centre back, and without Koval, it's difficult, and it's difficult to play those players in his position and get the same result. And that's interesting. Like he also said that in the last, I mean, the game before the Liverpool, the one we lost against Brighton. So I have to ask you on that. Benoit Badiashile, a huge fan of his, uh, and happy that he got the chance again after a long time. And I think he was doing well. But again, the injury with Chelsea. from from I don't know how many years this injury thing is becoming a huge problem. So I'm sure we can conclude it was not on Potter or Pochettino or Maresca. This is something beyond the manager. Maybe so the two questions back to
Not to cut you, but we can say that it is not on them, and we can say that it is on them because we don't know what the because we don't know what the whole situation. Is it a revigoration of what he had before? Because you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Body Shield has gone surgery. I don't think some the players that have gotten injuries. Of course, the likes of Cole, he never got this injury before. But with body issue, we know that body issue was out for months for a while in the past under Pochettino, for example, and then Maresca. So I don't know. I don't know. But not to cut you, continue saying and I'll come in and answer what you were asking before.
no, I was almost done. So yeah, no, that's fine. You can always come in anytime, sir. It's always great to have your input and your thoughts and to add more to the subject and the conversation. So yeah, I see tomorrow as a very competitive game because of the reasons I said, because of our team currently, and we always not always, but most of the times have done bad or lost or dropped points after the international break, and especially when we think we are building something under Enzo Maresca, a huge win here or there against the big boys, then there has been a disappointment. Disappointment on the next game or eventually down the line. So this is one question like I have, that can Enzo Maresca, of course he is not there on the touch line, so I won't be like giving any credit or giving any criticism to Maresca for this game because he will be watching from a distance. But I want to see consistency. We can beat Liverpool. We can beat PSG. We can beat. I think these are the two teams we have defeated, right? Not any other big team, but we have defeated Liverpool twice. One parting Liverpool, one serious Liverpool, a solid PSG in the Club World Cup final. We drew against Arsenal, who I think is the best team in England. And we defeated Spurs, Postecoglou Spurs, but let's see what we'll do against Thomas Frank Spurs. So, but then again, we lose to Everton or Ipswich Town, draw against Fulham, lose against Brentford, lose against Brighton, draw against Wolves, draw against Burnley. So, I mean, it won't take us anywhere. We'll be fourth, fifth again, even less. So, back to you. The injury issue. What do you think? I mean, uh, as you said very well, I gave a pass to all the last three, four managers, but you said maybe they have something to do with it. On the other hand, my conclusion is it's not a definite conclusion. My conclusion in terms of the biggest component of the injury, in my opinion, just looking from far, of course, without any evidence, is the number of games, more Champions League games, more friendlies, World Cup qualifiers, Nations League, more added, and of course the Summer World Cup. I think that is the reason. Basically, what I'm saying is less recovery, sir. Please go ahead.
Man, one of the things that tends to happen is that you see what you see when you're such an analyst. You tend to you tend to speak, and then you don't realize the fact that you're giving the answer while you're asking the question as well. And it happens to the best of us a lot. We ask a question, and then we subconsciously respond to their own question when we're asking it. And I mean, I'm just gonna do a tapping on what you just did, like just like with Ronaldo, tapping in.
You just made the Messi fans happy with that statement, Taron. Go ahead.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying is this, that you just, and one of the things that I was going to mention, it is about, and we had a stream about this as well, the hidden cost of winning the Club World Cup. The players are going to be tired. The players are going to be more susceptible to injury because they're playing in a climate that most of them are not used to. Cole Palmer, for example. Cole Palmer was playing game after 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 game and getting little to no break in between. He was the talisman of the team, literally, the talisman of the team. And of course, he had that dry spell. He also picked up an injury. Let's not forget that kept him out for about two matches. During the time when he wasn't scoring goals in last season. So the whole thing with the groin issue, it's not surprising, because he's been having injuries non-stop, and all that. So it's not surprising. But the shield, I was alluding to it before, that one of the biggest things is that one of the biggest things with him is that, am I frozen? Anyways, are you hearing me still? Hello. Okay, sure,
Yes,
sure.
I'm here. Sorry, I should have said that. I thought you'll go a little bit longer. I just went to get my milk, man. Sorry about that. I was here, but not close enough to unmute myself. That was it.
But what I'm saying is that with body issue, as I alluded to, with body issue has been having a lot of recurring issues. And I don't think he got surgery. I could be wrong. I don't think he got surgery. So I don't know. I don't know the magnitude of the injury as well. That's the next thing. But what I do know is that him getting injured, as you said, he got a chance to come back, and he was doing very good. And I think this is something that, and I'm not gonna use this because I don't, the whole thing of being a coach and all of that. I don't use that to say that, okay, fine, because I'm coaching this team and I'm coaching a team and all that, and I'm assisting in trying to get the team to play a certain way. All of that doesn't matter. But as a football fan, it is and it goes back to what I said. As a manager, you need to understand the players that you have. Buddy Shield has always been a good ball playing defender. That has been the case. I remember when Thiago Silva was at the club and people used to love him and Buddy Shield playing alongside each other because the way how Buddy Shield could move the ball and how good of a ball playing defender he is. The only issue with Buddy Shield is that he does have a mistake in him, just like Chalobah as well. You know, Tosin is a good ball playing defender, but sometimes his shot stopping is all over the place. Sometimes he can be the best shot stopper, sometimes he can be the poorest ball playing defender. He can make a mistake. But what people tend to be oblivious to, they choose to ignore, is that Buddy Shield has never really been given the chance to have to do that. So when you place him in a situation where he has to be not only a good ball playing defender, but also a good defender in terms of shotting, of blocking shots, or stopping the shots before they go in, or and all of that, obviously it's going to lead to him having issues, and therefore we can expect to see more of that as we go along. So yeah, I'm disappointed that he's going to be out until December, and that's just the assumption. It could be worse, it could be better. We never know.
So,
But
so a
one
quick
thing that
follow-up
really,
question. I know maybe we'll conclude
yeah.
in what, next 10, 12 minutes. I know we are ahead of time, and some of it has to do with your 7 minute. I think I'm sure you said some very good stuff over there, but you were on mute, and somehow I was trying to get back to you, but that happens. That is what Chelsea is right now, up and down, and that's part and parcel of the game. So that's fine. So, one question is, which is a which I've been observing for the last couple of years, and especially since Enzo Maresca joined. And it has nothing to do with Maresca. I'm just saying this is more of a discussion right now. With these injuries or the injuries we had before, like at the start of the season, should that? I mean, how much should that play a part in terms of altering the expectation of the season, if that's the right way to put it?
That's a very good question. Um, mm, it's like you said. If a manager tends to have those issues, then you can't expect him, to be being the greatest. And I always like to be fair. So if I'm gonna criticize, I have to criticize on the basis of this. But what I wanted to respond to, and I never got the chance to respond to, as I was saying, what one of the things that I wanted to respond to and I didn't get the chance to respond to is the fact that you mentioned about the fact that he said he wanted a centre back to replace Cowell, but at the same time, he himself came out and said otherwise. So if that is how you felt, why contradict yourself? That's the thing. And people make excuses by saying that, oh, he had to say that because, oh, you don't want to go against against what your bosses are telling you and all of that. But it's stupid. You can't complain if you don't stand your ground. I believe that he has done enough in the owner's eyes, not in my eyes, but in the owner's eyes, to be able to say that, okay, if you want us to go to the next phase of this plan that you have with me, I'm going to put it that way because that's what I see a lot of fancy online. The next phase of Maresca ball, you must have the best resources and all resources available at your disposal. If you don't have them, then it is madness. And even though I may not be the most may not be the most largest advocate for Maresca. I do believe that if you're gonna give a manager or gonna give somebody a job, you have to equip them with the best resources so that they can be successful, or you give them the best resources so that if they even if they're learning on the job, as Maresca himself has said, I'm not saying it. Jerry's not the only one saying it. Said it himself that he's still learning on the job, that he's still learning how to deal with having red cards in more than one game. He's still learning about all of those stuff. So the thing is, the injuries I can sympathize with it, but I'm not going to be too sympathetic because when likes of Pochettino was getting these massive injuries where we had a whole 11, you could have fielded from goalkeeper to attack with injured players. That you could have fielded 11 with the amount of injuries that we had, and people were not showing any mercy and saying that, oh, it's because he of his way that he trains and he demands the players to train. He's injuring the players. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that because if you're not going to show any sort of sympathy to the fact, that's fine. Even that was the case, because we will never know if Pochettino is the reason why these players got injured in the first place. But I don't believe that that's a fair argument. And Garvan will say this as well. Players like Wesley Fofana gets himself injured. The way that he injured himself even recently, because he did something that he did not have to do. He's trying to do some. He's trying to defend in a cinematic way of, oh, I'm gonna win the ball in a sexy way, good for the cameras, and then he gets injured. The way that he got injured last season as well against Aston Villa, he tried to pull back the ball and he slipped over the ball and pulled his hamstring. Those things you can't blame the manager for, and I'm not gonna blame him for or on the Pochettino because that's what happened. But if you're gonna be inconsistent and say that Pochettino got these players injured, why is the magnitude of it not the same? Didn't Pochettino have these players in preseason in America as well? So if you're gonna say that America is the reason why these players are getting injured, so did Pochettino. When Pochettino had a wonderful preseason where we were winning games and scoring goals for fun, he was also playing in America, not just one state, multiple states. They were going to different places for the matches. Then they had the summer series where we won a friendly trophy against Brighton, I think it was. So I'm not going to buy this thing of, oh, because of these injuries. I will have to tailor my expectation, because if you don't have the greatest players at your disposal, then you can have the greatest performances. But at the same time, you need to do with what you have. Do the best with what you have. There is a case where, despite everything, and he's trying, and the players are just making blatant mistakes, then obviously I cannot be unfair and I cannot be criticizing him. But let me see that you try to show that you have a solution to the situation, to the crisis that you've now been given. Simple as that. I'm not going to be sympathetic towards somebody as well who's making monies that I can only dream of. He's making money that I can only dream of. I have never seen those figures before, and I've done some jobs in the past, and I've never seen that type of figure that he gets on a monthly basis or on a weekly basis. So I'm not going to be sympathetic about that, because he's making enough money to be able to say that, okay, we believe you're worth this amount because of the capabilities, the qualification, the certification that you have. So if he cannot do what needs to be done, then he should not be making that amount of money, and that's just the harsh reality. So I'm not saying that he should not feel stressed. Oh, because I'm not going to say that money should give you all that happiness because you're getting this paid amount of money. No, but if you're getting paid a certain amount of money, it is because they believe in you. So back their trust. Show them that you're not just a couple manager. Prove to me, although you don't owe me any explanation or prove anything to me, but I've been a fan longer than you've been at the club, so you have to prove me wrong. That's it. So you may be older than me, or you may have been a footballer in another time, but I've been a fan of Chelsea before you were the manager. So I want to go back to seeing the days of a Chelsea manager being able to find a solution. Jose Mourinho had a pragmatic way of winning a match and keeping a 1-0 lead. Fine. We had the massive statistics because of him. Fine. Do that. I'm gonna conclude my talking here because I don't want us to go too far over the time. that we've set in place for how long the stream should be. And of course, as you said, me talking for about 10 minutes without noticing that my mic was not on did play a crucial role in this. So that's what I have to say, and hope that answers your question as well about the whole injury crisis. It is
No, no,
disappointing,
that's
but I'm not going to
perfect,
be
man. Like,
sympathetic.
it's it's delicious, great explanation, and so many things that you factored in. So, okay, so we can conclude with what? Like, what should we expect tomorrow from both Chelsea and Postecoglou? Because it could be his last match, as he just put it on the screen. It's possible, it's likely, if they lose. So we can safely say it's close to a Chelsea B team. I mean, it will be a B team because of the injuries or the players that won't play because of just arriving today from international duty from South America. Um, how do you see us approaching this game away from home? Uh, Personally, I think we should be on the front foot. There's no need for us to be pragmatic or extra cautious. We know that Nottingham Forest are under pressure. We know they want a result. They need a result. It's demanded by the owners. Of course, we won't change our philosophy. That is to take our time, build slowly and gradually. But at the same time, I don't believe that we need to be extra cautious in this game. I think if we are on the front foot, we still have the players apart from the injuries that you mentioned and some of the absentees due to travel. I think we still have much more quality, in my opinion, in Nottingham Forest for us to take it on the front foot, press them. I love whenever time to time Enzo Maresca choose to do so. Of course, he won't be on the touchline, but of course, the instructions set for this game, at least to start with, will be Enzo Maresca, and then of course the assistant will take it from there. Um, so, do you? I mean, what do you see like the approach in terms of the approach, in terms of tactics from Chelsea? Do you see anything different in this game? And and also when it comes to Ange Postecoglou, do you think he will now stick to a back three that he tried against Newcastle? Tyrone, you're on mute.
I would not be surprised if Postecoglou goes to a back four, try to match what formation you'll try to go with. And that's just me assuming that we're going to go with the customary back four. That could become a back three depending on who we have to use. But at the same time, what I will say is that I don't see Chelsea winning this match. I generally don't have. Usually, when Chelsea are going to win a match, I would have this feeling of okay, we're going to win this match. I was wrong about us not. About us not. Um, I was wrong by when I said that Chelsea not going to beat Liverpool. But of course, the circumstances, I did not expect Liverpool to, for one, not have the scoring boots on because, and as I said before, and I said it on that review show as well before the international break, or when the international break would have been soon to commence, that for one, it wasn't like Liverpool did not have chances that they didn't miss. They did. Salah missed a chance. What's that guy's name? Uh, Isak missed a few chances as well. So it's not like they didn't create chances and they were just dominating from left to right and it was like a PSG type of domination. It wasn't because the game was very even at certain aspects. So I'm not going to be fooled by that, as I said. So I don't see Chelsea winning the match. I hope I'm wrong because I do want to see my team keep getting wins, but I don't have that belief, and especially with the players that are going to also be missing the match, not because of injury, but because of fatigue or jet lag or whatever the case may be. I just don't see a win happening, and that's just unfortunate for me because I wanted to see a match where it's intense for other reasons, not just that this could be a Postecoglou's last match. But as I said, if Postecoglou does not win this match, they should sack him because this is the best time to beat Chelsea. Beat them when they don't have one of the crucial players that they've had this season in Caicedo possibly not playing. Not isn't to say that Caicedo could not play though, because Maresca didn't say that he's not going to be in the squad. He just simply said that he did not train. Him and Pedro and Fernandez did not train
He
in the
may
session that they
come off
had
the bench maybe.
on Friday. Yeah, so it's not like they're unavailable. But considering the fact that they may not start Caicedo because he's gonna need some time to to detox or to come back from the fact that he was playing for
And
Ecuador
also,
and all of that,
I don't
and he
know
was
what you think. And also, he has, like Mariska has, and he should be having one eye. Just 3 days from now, we'll be playing Ajax in the Champions League. So he needs to balance that as well. The workload, that is.
so and that's the next thing. That's the next thing. So what will happen? Will Mark you get a chance? Will Joao Pedro start? Because Joao Pedro trained and all of that, but will he start? That's the next thing. What's going to be the case? What 11 are we going to see being fielded? All of those stuff need to be considered. To be fair,
Yeah, perfect, man. Perfect. Great analysis, and a lot of things that are uncertain in terms of Postecoglou's approach. You think back for sure? I think that's possible. I don't know if I have to be honest because the last game he tried back three.
he did use that.
Yes, no, but I think if it's like a do and die, then he should go to his philosophy in this game, especially against
Which is what I'm
a
saying back
B
four.
Chelsea team, right? I mean, if Caicedo is not playing and if Palmer is not playing for sure, right? So Caicedo for me is the engine of Chelsea, and Palmer is the wing. If you have a plane, you don't. So we are without our wing and engine. The wings on the sides that are used to fly and prosper is Cole Palmer, and the engine holding it all together is Caicedo. So what better opportunity for Ange Postecoglou and Nottingham Forest to play Chelsea without their wings and engine? Would you agree, Tyrone?
Yeah, that's which is why I said that if Postecoglou can't get a win, then they should sack him because it really just show. But if you can't beat, and I'm not, and I don't mean to for it to sound disrespectful, but if you can't beat them when you're down, then you're never gonna beat them at all, or you're never going to be able to show that you deserve to stay at the club. Do what Ruben Amram did, and Ruben Amram did not face off against a B team Chelsea. He faced off against the best that we could give on that day, and then of
So
course he got
I
the
mean,
red
I
card.
think that was
So
I think we lost it because of Mariska's tactic. After the red card, he really controlled the
and
game.
by the way, as I said, red card. Sorry, not to cut you. I do believe Joao Pedro could start the match because he's gonna miss the Champions League match because he got a red card at the end of the match. I just remembered. So
Perfect,
yeah,
perfect. Yeah, and do you see Garnacho starting this match?
um, if Pedro Neto isn't starting, I it's a possibility because I mean it's not like we have options. We have Boanotti. I think we keep forgetting that we have options. We have
Yeah.
Deloni,
So
Boanotti
how
who can
impressed are
play.
you, or how, let's say, how impressed or so far how like how you have evaluated Garnacho as an individual player,
I'm
of
not
course,
convinced.
also,
I
and
still
how
don't
do you
see
think
why
he
we
can?
sign him.
Okay, so do you think? So just the final question and the prediction, and then we'll wrap it up. Are you like? Do you have questions on his, you can say, skill set, or do you think he does not fit in the system? They're two different things.
The truth is, I don't know what Maresca's system is because it's very hard for me to
Okay,
understand sometimes.
there you go.
So I can't say if he doesn't fit the system because he did ask for Garnacho. So I don't know if he doesn't fit the system. Then don't you think that you should blame Maresca because Maresca signed off on the player? They agreed that okay, we're willing to spend this amount of money and not get Simmons or get somebody else who can deputize for it. Well, they got Boanotti. who can deputize in that role that Kopama does. But he decided to go for Garnacho rather than to sign a Simmons or a Kudos. So I mean, I just haven't seen enough from Garnacho to even make that conclusion because
Right.
he showed
So
that he
you're
can.
right. And for me, like, yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
He has shown me that that what I saw at Man United, he can do that where he can have a few good games and he disappears. I've never seen him be consistent. He reminds me of the Argentinian Madueke. Madueke will be the
You
greatest
summed it
player
up
when
for me. That's
he's
all
not
I wanted
scoring.
to say. That he is inconsistently consistent. You know.
Yeah. So
So
that's just the issue.
he's one of those players who would have minutes and or moments of brilliance, and you would be like, "Wow, like this player is something," and then he would disappear, right, Tyrone?
Yeah.
And that player, if I have understood Mariska's system, because we are all trying to figure out in Enzo Mariska's system, without going deep now, because we are concluding, you need a player, a positional player, that is right, a zone, a player who works well with the zones, in the zones rather. And I don't see Garnacho to be that player. And that's why I'm surprised that why went for Garnacho, because his system require you to do some certain things. And Garnacho is a very hybrid, a player that is all over the pitch. So yeah, that's just one observation. So yeah, for me, I think Tyrone, as much as I would love to say a win because of the injuries and the absence, and especially the players who would be tired coming from the international break, and we are playing away from home, and on top of that, Ange Postecoglou would be fighting for his life. I would go for a draw. What about you?
Mm. As I said, I'm sticking to. I see Chelsea losing 2-1.
Wow. So you not even a draw, Tyrone.
If it's not 2-2, it's gonna be 2-1 to Nottingham Forest.
All right. There you have it, guys. Don't forget to like. Of course, Tyrone would end the show. Don't forget from my side to like, subscribe. I know it's late in most countries, and you can watch it early morning or wherever, whenever you have time. Please share it with your family and friends, and leave the comments. What do you think about everything that we have talked, and what you would like to see in the future? Thank you, Tyrone, for having me on this fantastic Friday evening before we restart our our dance, our journey, the love of our life, the Premier League, which we can discuss at a later time behind the scenes. Very excited, man, and nervous to be very honest. Thank you, Tyrone.
All right, thank you to everybody that tuned in. We didn't have much people here today, but as Jerry said, maybe people can watch it before the match starts at 12:30 or what they call lunchtime in the UK on Saturday. So thank you guys for watching, and hope you guys do subscribe. As I said before, we are just 79 away from 4,000. It can be done before the month ends. That is my belief. But thank you guys for watching, and goodbye.